Hey everyone, so this video is very different and it's gonna be a little bit difficult for me to make just because it's about something that I haven't really fully opened up to uh, anyone about yet, other than a few close personal friends and some family, but not to you guys. The only reason I decided to open up about it was, you know, for other women who have been through this or may go through this in your lifetime. Maybe you can relate, maybe you can find comfort in what I'm about to talk about. But, okay, so this video is about the miscarriage I experienced in early 2013. It was early last year. First of all, the pregnancy was a surprise. But at the same time, it wasn't a shock, if that makes any sense. But it was a pleasant surprise, definitely. I mean, it was a scary one, but I was still very happy about it. I was 22 when it happened. I found out I was pregnant in January of 2013 by a home pregnancy test, and the pregnancy was actually with my current boyfriend. We've been together going on 15 months. And we had only been together a few short months by this point, but we were already serious. We were, we already had really strong feelings for each other, so it wasn't like anything like, oh, hey, I just met you, let's bang and make a baby. No, it wasn't anything like that. But anyway, when I found out, at first I was kind of like, what do I do? And then after that kind of wore off, I was like, nah, this can't be true. So I went to the doctors and, had an official pregnancy test. And then he came back and he's like, well, congratulations, you're pregnant. And I was just like, again, I was surprised but not shocked. It was kind of a weird thing going on. I don't know if it just hadn't hit me yet completely or what, but then he referred me to an OBGYN, and, I finished out my appointment and everything like that, and got in the car with my mom, and we started driving down the road, and I just started crying. I just started crying. It wasn't sad tears. It was, oh my God, I'm gonna be a mom. I have a life growing inside of me right now, and it was just kind of a joyously overwhelming flood of tears. um, and my mom's like, "Are you okay?" Like, I'm like, "Yeah, I'm fine. I'm just so happy." It was kind of funny, but I think right then was when it all like really became real. Like, it really hit me. I'm pregnant. you know. But so a week or so went by. I went to the doctors, got everything checked out. I went to get an ultrasound, but it wasn't clear. It wasn't into the pregnancy enough that they could actually see a heartbeat or hear a heartbeat or whatever. So they, said, we'll come in a couple more weeks. We'll try it again. If not, we'll try it again. But at this point, I had taken 3 pregnancy tests. No, 4. 2 home pregnancy tests. My primary doctors, and then at the OBGYN, they gave me 1 too. So at this point, I took 4. So I was for sure 100% pregnant. But it was just too soon. I mean, because I found out on my own 2 weeks after 3 weeks after the very first possibility that I could have gotten pregnant, So it was very early. It was very, very early. I was actually very lucky I found out so early. But yeah, so I found out I was pregnant, and they couldn't hear the heartbeat or anything like that, but they knew I was pregnant. So a couple more weeks went by. I got another ultrasound, and they saw little Peanut. They saw. They couldn't really, it wasn't like a clear shot, but they were like, well, that's where it is, So then they scheduled me for another ultrasound to finally be able to hear the heartbeat. In a couple of weeks after that. This put me at about, that next appointment would have put me at about 7 weeks. So they should have by then been able to, hear the heartbeat and see it clearly and everything. So me and my boyfriend moved in together in February of last year. And everything was going fine. I was taking my prenatals. I wasn't smoking. I wasn't drinking. I wasn't, running or anything like that. But about 5 weeks into my pregnancy, my grandmother, who had raised me, was like my mother, my best friend in life, everything. She passed away. And I think right then was when everything in my mind just kind of, stress overloaded, grief, sadness, depression, and I was just like on edge. And one thing that you cannot do is you cannot get stressed out. You cannot. And I was. But anyway, a couple of weeks passed after that, and one day I just sat down to eat dinner, and as soon as my butt hit the chair, I just felt something was wrong. I just felt like something was wrong. And I'm just like, I'll just go ahead and eat. So I went ahead and ate. Went to the bathroom afterwards. Used the bathroom, and I wiped, and I saw blood. So I called the ambulance. And this was one day before my next scheduled appointment to see the baby and hear its heartbeat. One day. And went to the hospital. I was there for a few hours. They examined me. They did everything. And, they were like, we can't tell for sure because it's so early in your pregnancy, but we aren't finding a heartbeat. We don't really see anything. So just go to your doctor's appointment tomorrow, your OBGYN appointment tomorrow. Let them test you out and everything. So I still had my hopes up, that maybe it was just still too soon. And I went, and I'll never fucking forget it. I was sitting there, and the doctor came back with a bunch of readings and from blood tests and everything. And she said, it happens. You lost the baby. And I tried to hold it together as best as I could, but then a few minutes into it, she just kept talking about it, and I was just like, bleh. I just started bawling my eyes out, and a miscarriage, no matter how unready I was for a baby and how much I needed to do, I loved that baby. As soon as I found out it was a part of me, that's why I started crying that day in the car. I, I felt important. I felt needed. I felt blessed. And then I was thinking about baby names and wondering what gender it was going to be and how I was going to raise it, and the most important lessons in life that I wanted to teach it first, and have it ripped away from you in just a few seconds. Just all those hopes and dreams and ambitions just gone. It was hard. It was really hard. It still is. And that's what I wanted to talk to you guys about. And I don't have much time left now. But when you want a child, you want to be a mother, you want to be a parent, and you get pregnant and you're growing a life inside of you. You feel amazing. You just feel awesome. You feel cool as shit too. If something happens to that, it is the hardest thing to deal with in life. It really is, and move on from. But it's not impossible. Something that I keep telling myself is, I lost a baby. I'm never going to love another baby the same way I did that one. The exact same relationship I had with that baby, but I will be able to have kids again, and I will have new relationships, and just as loving, just different. And I can't hold out hope. I can't stop holding out hope. Like, it is possible to get through it. It is possible to get pregnant again, but this time when you're ready, and if you were ready, this will just make you stronger. This will make you better. This will make you appreciate your next pregnancy and child even more. It won't let you take anything for granted. It's really hard for me sometimes to know that right now, if I hadn't miscarried, that I would have a beautiful baby in my arms. And I would be a mother. And I would be somebody's hero, somebody's role model. It's really hard for me to know that I could be that, but I'm not. And I miss that child. I didn't get to name it. I didn't get to hug it. I didn't even get to see it or hear its heartbeat. But that's another thing that pregnancy does. It teaches you in a matter of minutes of what love really, really is. And that's what it did for me. And that's what I wanted to talk to you guys about. If you've ever been through a miscarriage, or you ever do go through a miscarriage, just don't forget it's not the end. Love that child. Never let that child go out of your heart. But don't cling to what could have been. Just think of that child as an angel watching over you in heaven now. And keep trying. Thanks for watching, guys. Sorry for crying in yet another video. I love you. God bless.